Well, thanks for sitting for an interview. First question, who are you and what do you do?
Hi, my name is Holly Schinsky, and I work for the Adobe PhoneGap team.
What was your workshop on today?
So today I did a PhoneGap intermediate workshop and basically went over a general intermediate level how to use PhoneGap and how to use some of the plugins and frameworks and stuff like that. General sort of session.
I actually learned a lot of PhoneGap from one of your blog posts a couple of years ago. So a question that comes to mind is what's it like to learn PhoneGap today, and what's the ramp up time? So if a company's thinking of adopting PhoneGap and they have a web dev team, what are your suggestions and how does that compare to a few years ago?
Yeah, so I think that we've created a lot of really helpful tools to make it getting started easy, or much easier than in the past. And some of those tools we went over today in the beginner workshop and the intermediate, but we have a PhoneGap developer app that allows you to view PhoneGap apps on your device without having to install all the SDKs. So we sort of sandbox the app environment for you and include a bunch of plugins that are popular that you might want to use to access native device features that way without having to go through a lot of hassle of setup, so that you kind of have like a quick reward, by trying out your app and seeing how it works fast. And we also have the PhoneGap build service, which allows you to package apps easily through the cloud. And we have the PhoneGap desktop tool, which we've come out with in the past year, which also allows you to use a UI approach to creating your app. And then you can serve your app from there and pair with the developer app, all without doing any extra installing of SDKs, which is nice. And that was not the case the year before last. So it's a lot easier now to get started.
In the last year, what's excited you the most in the mobile space?
There's been a lot of new frameworks that have come out, not only just JavaScript frameworks that are fun and exciting and fun to work with, but also UI frameworks to make PhoneGap and mobile development easier for developer types who are not necessarily designers. And maybe we spend too much time, tweaking CSS when we'd rather be coding some of the app features themselves. So it's been really great to have frameworks like Ionic and Framework 7, Onsen UI, Kendo UI. There's a lot of them now that have made the whole development process more fun for us, more developer, less designer types. And that's been fun and a huge change. And there's been a lot of new tooling around that as well to make things easier. So that's probably the biggest change.
And then in 2016, what do you see on the horizon that's exciting you about mobile?
One of the biggest things that I've seen is people adopting the hybrid approach more so than they have ever in the past, and finding that the performance is there and you can build them to be performant and people can't tell the difference. And it's really become more widely accepted. And there's been a big change. The iOS new web view, the WK web view, that was recently, I guess it came out in iOS 8, but the support for it now in Cordova and PhoneGap is there. So you can start building really fast apps. And, I think that's the biggest change. And finding people accepting it and loving it and wanting to build the apps has been, cool. And I think this year is going to be an even bigger year for that.
Great. Thank you.